But have you ever found yourself sitting on one of the university's overcrowded buses, closely watching your watch as it got closer and closer to class time, and yet your destination was still far away? As a student here at Texas State, I find myself constantly using our bus system, whether it's from the commuter lots or on the campus loop. And I always find myself stressing and wondering why the bus system seems so inefficient, or if I'll get to class on time. Our school's bus system is very sloppy at managing their time at each stop and effectively getting students to class on time. I propose that we institute a time limit at each stop and try harder to spread the buses apart, while possibly even adding a new campus bus route that will travel opposite to the existing one. According to Senator Christopher Jones and his Growing Pains plan for Texas State, approximately 18,000 students ride the 27 university buses on 11 routes each day. This system is running at full capacity, which leaves passengers constantly waiting on a bus, which is usually jam-packed with students when it does arrive. Once a student finally is able to catch the bus he or she needs, they must waste their time as the driver sits for unnecessary periods of time. Then, of course, there's the problem of too many buses being at one stop, while students at other stops are having to wait longer than they should for the bus to arrive. I decided to test all of these problems myself with a little field research. I boarded the campus loop bus at the Commons Dining Hall during the middle of the day when most students use it, and I was appalled to find my arguments to be true. Just at this one stop, we sat for 8 minutes while the bus driver got off the bus, got a newspaper, read the front page, and caused all of its passengers to wait. My next point of interest was our stop at the Quad. There were at least 20 people waiting for the bus, which then became overcrowded. Who knows how long these people had to wait. At the Student Center, I noticed an overflow of buses that could have been on their way picking up other passengers. There was one Post Road bus, 2 campus loop buses, 1 Bobcat Stadium bus, and 2 Ranch Road 12 buses waiting. Our next stop at the Rec Center made me even angrier. There was already a campus loop bus sitting there waiting for students. This then caused my bus to be only minutes behind the other bus for the rest of the trip, creating the gap for students at other stops to be even greater. Overall, my trip on the campus loop lasted a long 34 minutes. These type of mishaps should not be happening because they directly affect Texas students negatively. According to the Texas State Handbook, each bus runs approximately 7 to 30 minutes, depending on the time of day and which bus. I personally believe this time frame leaves much to be desired, considering a lot of students only have a 15-minute time gap between classes. For instance, what if you have a PFW class at Jowers and then need to trek all the way up to Supple for a science class? There's no way you can make it on foot, but of course, the bus isn't a time-efficient solution either. So what do? You're late to class, of course. I hear this problem from fellow students all the time, and I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. It is a hassle for students and teachers alike because students are having to come into class late and disturb the teacher and other students trying to learn. I believe that if the university made their bus system more efficient, students would be able to get to class on time and have a more enjoyable ride. Now, the way I propose for this change to happen is by setting a time limit at each bus stop and having bus drivers make a bigger effort to spread the buses out over the route. A long-term solution that could benefit everyone would be to create a campus bus route that runs opposite of the existing one. During training, each bus driver should be given an exact time frame they are allowed at each bus stop, let's say 4 minutes. This would help keep the system running faster if each bus had the same time requirement and stuck to it. Having a time limit at each stop would also keep the buses on track and keep them from clustering. For example, it's pointless to have 5 buses on the east side of campus when there are students waiting on the west side. The flow of buses needs to run consistently. Another more drastic idea would be to increase the number of buses we have and create a second bus route that would run counterclockwise to the current campus loop. With this bus route, students would be able to get to their destination faster instead of waiting for an entire circulation. Take the Jowers Supple example again. Instead of having to sit up on the bus for an entire loop, students would be able to ride the opposite bus and bypass all of the unnecessary stops. The Texas State website states that by 2010, university enrollment will increase by 18%. This increase will greatly impact the bus system at Texas State, which we need to prepare for now instead of pay for later. In conclusion, I've told you about the issues our university buses face and how they directly affect students, along with possible ways to fix this growing problem. The next time you find yourself impatiently waiting on the campus loop, don't suddenly jump up and start running up and down the aisle, flailing your arms and screaming, as suggested by lotsofjokes.com. Instead, Instead, to keep yourself entertained. Instead, notice how your valuable time is being wasted and make an effort to voice your opinion and do something about it.